R&B music has revolutionized the music industry in many ways, starting all the way back in the 1950s. R&B in the 1950s originated from jazz in the 40s. It came to have its name because it was more upbeat than blues. It combined elements of rock and roll, soul, Motown, and funk music. Many of the artists coming up in the genre were originators of rock music. Many African American artists were pushed to be in the R&B genre so the white rockers could capitalize off the genre. Most of the artists were African American, with many white artists and groups turning some of the songs in the genre into traditional pop. Some famous artists were Sam Cooke, The Drifters, Ray Charles, and Lloyd Price. It changed from the 1940s music because originally it was jazz that changed to blues, but with songs being created with a higher tempo, it changed the genre completely into R&B.
By the early 1960s, the music industry category previously known as rhythm and blues was being called soul music, and similar music by white artists was labeled blue-eyed soul. Major significance in terms of the civil rights movement and integration in American society. Motown Sound was a popular R&B record label. Their records consisted mainly of African American groups, singers, and songwriters. Some of the most influential groups to come from the Motown sound were Rocky Robinson and the Miracles and Diana Ross and the Supremes. Popular R&B artists include The Temptations, The Marvelettes, The Four Tops, Stevie Wonder, Marvin Gaye, Aretha Franklin, and Jackson 5.
The 70s can be looked at as sort of the bridge from rebellious songs to happy songs. Um, Music during this time was more relaxed and there was a lot more dancing music. People were tired of the fighting that occurred in the 60s, like wars and battles, and wanted a more peaceful, relaxed, and happy theme music. This can be looked at as the disco movement or the start of the disco movement. Popular bands and artists during this time were Sly and the Family Stone, Kufus and Chaka Khan, Kool and the Gang, the Commodores, the start of the Jackson 5, Chick, James Brown, and many more.
R&B music became mainstream and a part of culture in the mid to late 1980s and became known as contemporary R&B. It was thought of as the golden age, where everything seemed original and innovative. MTV started airing the program Yo MTV Raps that made hip-hop and rap music a global phenomenon. Important hip-hop acts like Run DMC and LL Cool J made the genre commercial and were style icons. The Beastie Boys made the music white-friendly and added elements of rock music. And Salt and Peppa were female pioneers of the genre. The new wave genre was popular until the mid-1980s, and the focus of this music was on the artistic themes, and the sound was tied to punk rock, dance music, synthesizers, and other electronic instruments. New wave eventually became tied to pop music as music videos from the genre were heavily promoted on MTV. Many of the decade's one-hit wonders fell into this area of contemporary R&B. Some of the definitive new wave bands were Duran Duran, Blondie, Billy Idol, The Talking Heads, and The Culture Club.
During the 80s and 90s, the polished, less earthy sound of urban and quiet storms ruled the airwaves, but even then, R&B began adding stylistic components of hip-hop until there were hundreds of artists who featured both rapping and singing on their records. Popular artists were Whitney Houston, Boyz II Men, Janet Jackson, and Mary J. Blige. R&B became more mainstream in the 90s.
The continued popularity of contemporary R&B was seen during this decade in the global success of many established artists such as Beyoncé, Alicia Keys, Amy Winehouse, and Usher. The music was more technically advanced and began to sound more electronic. 80% of all the songs that topped the R&B charts were also on top of the Hot 100. That period was an all-time peak for R&B and hip-hop on the Billboard Hot 100 and on Top 40 radio. Later in the decade, it started to become harder for R&B artists of the era to sell their music or even have their music be heard because of the rise and influence of hip-hop. Some adopted a hip-hop image, were marketed as such, and often featured rappers in their songs. Unfortunately, from the late 2000s to early 2010s, R&B sales declined majorly.
R&B in the 21st century was not so different compared to it in the 2000s. This century was a time where R&B became sort of a combination of rap and soul music. A lot more rap artists started to use more of a slow beat to their music and started to sing in songs alongside rapping. Basically, rap is now considered R&B because artists not only rap in their songs but also have a smooth, slow melody in the middle. This attracts not only teenagers that like rap, but also older people that like the slow melodies. Artists popular in this time are Childish Gambino, Usher, Justin Timberlake, John Legend, Frank Ocean, and many, many more.
He rocks in the treetop all the day long, hopping and a popping and a singing his song. All the little birds on a jaybird street. They say the neon lights are bright on Broadway. On Broadway. They say there's always magic.
Got your effortlessly. That's the way it was. Happened so naturally. Didn't I know it was love? The next thing I felt was you holding me close. What was I gonna do? I let myself go, and now we fly through the stars.
Don't you stop, don't stop the music. Don't you stop it. Don't you stop, don't stop the music.
Don't you know you've got me mesmerized with the beat I'm always found. We'll always love you. We'll always love you. All the single ladies, 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 all the single ladies. Now put your hands up in the club. You just broke up. I'm doing my own little thing. You decided to dip.
No matter what you say, what you do, when I'm alone, I'd rather be with you. Forget these other things, I'll be right by your side till 2005.
Okay, hold up, wait a minute. All good just a week ago. Crew at my house and we party every weekend. So on the radio, that's my favorite song. Make me bounce around.